Good morning, everybody. I'm going to give it a couple minutes for everybody to join us. Awesome, I got one. Hello, good morning. Oh, here you go, Lane. Forgetting to give you your bone. There you go. All right, got a couple. I'm going to give it another minute or two here. And then we will start. How is everybody this morning so far? Okay. All right. Okay, so I got a couple of you on here. Getting my touchpad. It's finally working for me today, so that's good. All right, there we go. Okay, so today we are going to make these awesome, if you guys have been following my schedule, awesome little signs. All right, this is the one I was working on earlier this morning. All right, it's so cute. All right, and then this is the one that I had posted, the garden, the welcome to our garden sign. So this is the one we'll be making today. All right. So, as far as making this, I understand that not everybody has just pieces of log laying around their house to use. So if you have like cardboard, if you have a piece of wood, if you have even like an old cupboard door, anything, you can do this design on anything. I just had these logs sitting around, so that's what I used. All right. Okay. So to get started, I'm going to go over everything that you guys need for this project today. Set these up. Okay. So you'll need, first you'll need either something to paint this on. So like I said, if you don't have a log, just a regular piece of wood, scrap wood laying around is fine. That's fine. Whatever you guys want to put this on is good. Okay. So I'm going to use this. I have stencils, and I'm using the welcome to our part off of this stencil, and then I'm using the garden off of this one. All right, so these were just ordered on Amazon like years ago, and I've just had them laying around, so I kind of decided that I was going to use these two combined today. If you guys do not have stencils, it's okay. It's all right. You can use just a regular marker pen marker pen. Oh my goodness, chalk pen. That's okay, or chalk marker, or just a regular piece of chalk. Or if you're good, you can just use some paint and a paintbrush, like a really thin paintbrush. So don't look at this project and be like, oh, I can't do it because I don't have stencils. You can still write something. You can just write welcome on it or anything you would like, okay? So, but I am going to use stencils because I'm not that good with handwriting. All right, and then you will need paint. You'll need your black chalk paint, all right, and this is just your folk art. This is from Michaels, and I'm using that one today. And then I'm also using the Art Minds, and this is just the simple white, okay, and that's just for my letters and everything. All right, you will need a toilet paper roll, paper towel roll, something like that, okay? One of those will work, okay? You'll need sponge brushes. I have a couple different sizes here for mine. They're looking a little rough, but they still work. All right, so you'll need sponge brushes. They work the best for this project. You'll need a hot glue gun. You'll need extra hot glue sticks. And a hair dryer if you want to dry it to speed up the process. It's up to you guys. All right, so I think I covered everything. Yes, I did. Okay, so we will start. The first thing you need is to make sure that your surface that you are painting on is nice and clean. So make sure you're starting with that. Make sure you're wiping it off. This I already previously wiped off, so it should be good. All right. Okay, so then I'm going to start outlining this here with my black chalk paint. So I want this to look like a chalkboard surface. So that is where my black chalk paint comes into play. All right, so I have one sponge brush for my black and one sponge brush for my white. This way I'm not rinsing them and using all that water on my stuff, okay? So I'm going to just paint this. And you only need, this folk art seems to work pretty well. I only needed one coat, so it worked really, really well. And I didn't go the whole way up to my bark up at the top of this. I just kind of left it evenly the whole way around. All right. So what you're pretty much doing is just making this look like a chalkboard, the background of this, because then you're going to use your white paint over top to make it look like a chalkboard writing, which is really cool. And that's up to you guys. You guys can take this the whole way up if you are using an old piece of, tree or stump. It's up to you where you want to end that chalkboard. I just kind of leave a little bit around there just so you can get some of the wood look also. So that's the only reason why I'm doing that. Make it as even as I possibly can. And the wood kind of soaks up the chalk paint pretty quickly. Mine's pretty thick. I should have probably watered it down just a tiny bit. It seems to be working okay. And I'll go back over and kind of smooth over the edges a little bit. I'm gonna get my center done first. Hopefully you guys can see this okay. And if you guys have any questions or anything for me during this whole project, just comment. I'll try to keep up on the comments and answer everything for you guys. All right, awesome. I got 10 now. So I'm just going to kind of go back since I have more of you on here real quick. And I'm just going to show you what we're making today. We are making the Welcome to the Garden sign. All right, and this is just out of an old piece of log, as you can see, that was cut in half. And then these are toilet paper rolls, so you'll need a toilet paper roll and just some chalk paint, black and white chalk paint. There's that one, and then this is one. Sorry, I have hot glue all over this one because I just literally finished it right before I went live with this video. And this is the other one here that I made. So the possibilities are pretty endless with these. They're pretty cool. They're really, really cute. All right. Okay, so I'm going to go back to finishing painting my black here background on this one. And I'm just using the sponge brush. The sponge brush seems to do the best with this. It gives it that thicker coat. Trying to find a way that you guys can see this, that I can also do my outline here a little bit better. All right. So these are really cute if you have like a little greenhouse or sun porch and you want to keep that little plant woody feel. This is a really cute project. Or if your house is just really woodsy, this is a good one too. So if you guys have like trees or you have a coal and wood burner, before your husband throws all the pieces of wood in there, pick a couple out and start making these. All right, I got a couple comments. Let me read them here. I just want to catch up. Maybe, if this will let me. My touchpad has not been my friend lately. Okay, there we go. Good morning, Pam. Sharon, hi. Morning, Mom. Oh, thank you, Sharon. Yeah, it's a cool little idea. My coworker had given me these like pieces of stump or whatever you want to call them, you know, little logs, and she gave me them from her daughter's, I think it was a baby shower, and she just was like, oh, I'm not going to use these, and they've been sitting around. I've had them since my wedding. I didn't really use them for my wedding, and I was like, what can I do with these? I'm not pitching them, like they're too pretty. So I decided, why can't I just, they stand up on their own, so I'm like, why can't I just make a cute little sign? They look adorable. All right, let's see. Oh, thank you, Becky. Thank you. Yep, they're easy. They're very, very easy. They're nothing hard. So if you guys have, you know, if you cut down trees, or like I said, if you have a coal and wood burner and your, you know, your husband's always loading that up, you can find scrap pieces of wood in there and before he throws them in and paint them. Alright. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish my coat here on this. Make sure it's nice and even. Oops, getting my hair in there. It's stuck to my sleeve somewhere. Alright. Oh, there it is. Stuck to my brush. Ugh. I hate having long hair. I should have pulled it up today. Alright. So I'm just going to go ahead and even this out. I don't want to cover up all this pretty wood around the edges. I just want to kind of outline it a little bit. And it's funny because usually I don't use this much chalk paint when I'm doing a project, but however I need it to cover it pretty well. I'm not just using it to do kind of like you would with a chip brush. So this is a little bit different. You use a little bit more paint with this one. Alright, that looks pretty good. Making sure that's nice and even so I don't have to go back over this and do it again. Sorry guys, give me 1 minute here. This is bothering me. Just want to fix it now so I don't have to go back later and do it. Alright. My brush must be kind of uneven at the end. These are my reused ones, so might not look perfect. There we go. Okay, so I'm just making sure that's pretty even there. It looks pretty good. Okay, you still have that little light piece of wood showing underneath there, and then you have your bark at the top. Alright, so I'm just going to make sure this coat is nice and even on here real quick, just taking my brush over it, making sure there's no extra paint since we used a little bit more than we usually do. You don't want to let it dry unevenly, and then it'll look really like almost runny and stuff, so I don't want to do that. Alright, so this should dry pretty quickly, so I'm going to let that set. This should dry by the time we have our next part of this project done. Alright, okay, so you can keep your black brush. You might need it just to touch stuff up if you mess up like on your stencil, or if you're writing by hand. You just keep your black brush out with the black paint on, that way you have it. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry. Alright, so my next step is these. This is just the toilet paper roll, paper towel roll, whatever you have. I'm going to paint this whole thing white, okay, and this is what's going to make your flowers. So, just chalk paint again, and I'm going to paint this whole thing white. Just like that. really ugly here in Johnstown, PA today. It's been snowing since like yesterday, and it's so weird because the weather was so nice. I was out, what was it, Tuesday? I think it was Tuesday. My days are getting so confused now that we're stuck at home. But I think it was Tuesday. I was outside painting and redoing a dresser in short sleeves and leggings, and it was so nice out and it was so warm. The sun was out. It felt like a summer day, and then today's like January again. It's been like so weird, this weather. I don't like it. It's throwing me off. All right, so I painted my little toilet paper roll here. And that is all done. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry. Oops, hang on, I found a little spot here that I missed. It's not as covered as the rest. All right. And it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. Cardboard's a little different to paint. All right, so there it is. It's just all white, okay? You got that. I'm gonna stick it here to dry. Use my towel. I got some paint all over my hands. All right, and I think our background is dry enough now. We're gonna check it here. Chalk paint dries pretty quickly. That's why I like using it. I'm impatient. All right, so it's still a tiny bit wet, but you can see how dry it's getting pretty quickly. So I'm just gonna run my hair dryer over it really quick. Excuse the noise. So we have that dried now. All right, just so it's dry to the touch. Don't mind, that was paint from earlier. But now we are going to do our stencil. Maybe if I can get this up and running, let me see. Morning, Kathy. If you're just joining us, this is what we're making today. The little wooden signs here out of the log cuts. All right, they're really, really cute and simple. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get my stencil, and I'm using two different stencils combined here. I'm using the Welcome to R on this one, and then I'm using the Garden on this one. So you know, if you don't have stencils, that's okay. If you're good at handwriting, you can handwrite on here, or anything like that. That's up to you. Or if you have, like, you can get those really pretty vinyl stickers from the dollar store. That'll work on this too. So if you're running around today and you have to go out and get groceries, pick up one of those little vinyl stencils and slap it on here. It works just as good, okay? All right, so I'm gonna kind of figure out where I want this positioned. I'm going to kind of place the Welcome to R over a little bit, and then I think I'm going to put the Garden below it. All right. I still want enough room for my flowers. I'll probably do like a bigger one over here and then two smaller ones on this side. So just leaving enough room for that. So you kind of got to plan it out. It's like, you know, laying it out first, making sure you know where you're going to put everything is the hardest part. Kathy, these actually were cuts. My coworker gave me them. She made them. I think her husband and them cut them for her daughter's baby shower. And I was having my wedding in September, and she's like, I don't know what to do with these. If you can use them, here they are. So she gave me these. So a shout out to Peggy. Peggy's watching. But yeah, she gave me these, and they've been laying around, and I'm like, what can I do with them? I need to do something with them. And so popped in my head, I was like, why can't I make a cute little sign out of them? So I got lucky. I kind of had these laying around. But anything, you can do this on anything, really. So I just figured they looked really, really cute. You could probably buy, I think, any, like, Walmart might even have them. Walmart might have the log, like the round log cuts. I'm pretty sure, because they're kind of big now for like the table centerpieces for weddings and stuff. They're a little expensive, but I think Michael's, Walmart, and Joann's might have them. But I know I saw them at Michael's, and I know I saw them at Walmart. So if you want to go out and actually purchase one, you can. They are in stores somewhere. And you could even cut them in half, because I think they do sell them as the full round piece. So you could probably buy one and make 2 signs out of it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do my welcome to our part here first. I'm going to center it the best I can. Just eyeballing it. Looks pretty good. Alright, and then this is where you definitely want to be using a sponge brush, okay? When you're doing stencils, sponge brushes work the best. If you don't, you can use a regular paintbrush. Just make sure you're holding down your stencil really, really well. All right. So I'm just going to get a little bit, not a lot. We don't want to over fill it, because then it can kind of go underneath the stencil. So I'm just going to hold that. And I'm just going to dab up and down very lightly, not pressing very hard at all. I'm a very impatient person. Like, I'm somebody who I just want to be done with stuff. So stencils are hard for me because they do take a little bit longer, and they're, you know, they're more like work than just printing out something on my Cricut and slapping it on here. But I figured you're more likely to have stencils than a Cricut, so I didn't want to just do the Cricut and, you know, kind of leave you guys with nothing here to go off of. So I figured I'd do stencils today. Plus I'm running very low on vinyl and I'm not going out with all this stuff going on just to buy vinyl. I don't want to be one of those people. My luck, I would get sick as soon as I touch something I really didn't need to be out getting. Okay. Alright, so just lightly, and you see how far that's getting me. It's getting me really far on my stencil here. So I'm still using that initial little dip in the paint there, and it's working really well. It's going to keep going. Oops. Got a little paint on where I did not want to do the stencil, so I'll have to go back and touch that up. And I'm messy, so if I can do a stencil, you guys can. I'm very messy. I'll be touching this up, definitely. Alright. And just very light dabs. And just be careful that you're not moving like I just did. Picked up that stencil because it was stuck to my finger. It looks like it just picked it up though, so I think it should be fine. I'm just going to keep going with it. And the nice thing about this, if you are using a stencil and you're like, you take it up and you're like, I do not like how that looks, just repaint the black over and start over fresh. It doesn't hurt. You're not messing up anything. Don't get discouraged if you mess it up the first time. Trust me, I messed it up I don't know how many times just doing those two. And you got to remember, when I'm doing these, I've had practice already. So, you know, don't sit here and watch this video and be like, oh, especially if you're new at crafting and you're not quite sure how to do a lot of stuff. Please keep in mind that I'm doing these before I come live with you guys. So this isn't my first time doing this. So don't get discouraged if you're looking at this and thinking, oh, I can't do that. You can do it. I promise. You can even get something, just practice on a piece of cardboard or anything like that. It'll help you out. Trust me, I've messed up plenty of things and had to start over, so it happens. All right. Looks pretty good. I think I got all of my welcome and everything there. It looks pretty coated. I don't see any major spots. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm just going to grab a corner and hurry up and peel that off. And just watch so you don't set this stencil like upside down on something that you're doing because it is still wet. Okay, so I'm just going to set it over here. I've done that before. And as you can see, there are boo-boos on there. So I'm going to go back and touch that up later with my black paint. Okay, I'm going to let it as it is right now and we'll go back. All right, let me see. I have a couple more comments here. Oh, yes, Kathy, you got a Cricut. That's awesome. Yeah, I've been wanting to do a Cricut video. I would be more than happy to do a Cricut video. I am still learning it myself. There is just... Let me start off with this. My husband bought me this Cricut, like, it was a while back for Christmas. And it was like maybe a year ago. And I remember coming home and he's like, oh, I bought you something. And it was sitting on the dining room table and I'm like, oh, this is so exciting. And I set it up thinking I would just get it. And I'm like, this thing is really like involved. This is like something that you just don't sit there and click a button and it prints whatever you want. Like, you have so many options. There's so many different ways to do things on there. And their system, I haven't been on there now for about a couple weeks and I don't know if they updated anything. But when I used it for my wedding, I honestly was very unhappy with their online like system. It was kicking me, and I was paying $10. I was subscribed to their $10 a month thing for Cricut. And I mean, and I love the machine and I love what it does and I love it. But it deleted all of my stuff from my wedding. It like wasn't loading things and it had nothing to do with my computer. I even tried it on my husband's and everything, and it was just kind of kicking me out. And I even sent them an email because I was kind of mad. So like, I'm still learning how to do a lot of stuff on there because their system is not user friendly. I feel like it's not. It might have changed since I've been on there, but I would be more than happy to do a video on Cricut. Absolutely, absolutely. Let's see here. Oh, awesome, Becky. You have a Cricut too. That's awesome. Yes, I'm going to have to definitely do a video on Cricut. I will. I'm going to do one. Yeah, you're welcome, Kathy. Kathy, it is, like I said, it is kind of hard with the Cricut. And I'm pretty computer savvy. Like, I was a photographer. I had my own photography business for a long time. And so I knew Photoshop. I knew all that kind of stuff. And when I got onto the Cricut, it wasn't like inviting. It wasn't very like user friendly. It was kind of like, kind of figure it out yourself type of thing. And here, you can subscribe if you want. So like, it kind of took me a day or two to understand everything on it. And that's knowing, like, I know how to use Photoshop and everything. So once you use it though, you know how to use it. So the first initial like day or two that you're using it and trying to figure things out, it's frustrating. But after that, after you get it, it's easy. It's easy. Let's see here. Yes, yes, Becky. Exactly. Yep. Yes, teaching yourself, watching the videos, that's a good idea for the Cricut. Absolutely. Yep, and I'll let you know, Kathy. Definitely will. All right, so I'll go ahead and do the garden part. You guys gave that enough time to dry. That worked out really well. Good. Okay, so I'm just going to place my garden on here right underneath. Kind of space it out so it looks nice and even. kind of see where I want it. All right. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Making sure it's even. I don't want it to look crooked. Okay, move it down just a tiny bit. I'm eyeballing it here, sorry guys. Good. Okay, so I think it looks pretty good there. All right, so I'm going to start just like I did a couple minutes ago with the last one. Just grab a tiny bit of paint. Oh, I really stuck that in there. Hopefully I don't have too much on there. We're gonna find out. All right, and I'm just very lightly doing the garden here part. Okay, moving down here. And it's always hard if you're putting two different stencils together because you're gotta try not to get the part of the other part that you don't want on there. So just bear with me here. I'm struggling with this. All right. And you guys can tape this down. I never tape them down because I'm impatient. And it seems to work okay, but if you're nervous about it moving, you can tape it down. It shouldn't peel any of your chalk paint off or anything. Right. And this paint is getting me pretty far again, and even with the bigger letters, it seems, you know, to be lasting me a long time. So you don't use too much paint on your stencils. It's pretty easy. All right. Just gonna go back over, make sure I didn't miss any little spots here with that. All right, looks pretty good. All right, so that looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and lift that off of there. Turned out pretty good. All right, so I didn't screw up the garden part too much. That looks really good. And there's just a couple little spots on the welcome to our part that I want to touch up with the black. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. That way the garden part and my little touch-ups will all dry at the same time. All right. Let me just go back and do that. Little brush. I'm going to grab a tiny little brush. Give me 1 second here. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to go with a tiny little brush here just to touch up some of those spots. You can use your sponge brush, but my spots are just really little. And I tested this on my last two that I made because I had to touch up some spots there too. And you don't see the spots that you touched up, so it goes pretty nicely. I was worried that you might see those little spots that they might be darker than the rest of the board, but it turned out really well. All right. I always have to touch up when I do stencils because I don't take my time. I just kind of slop it on there. I'm terrible with that part. Okay, looks good. Good. I'm just being picky now. My OCD is getting the best of me right now. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, so I touched that up. Looks good, can't even tell. All right, so I'm going to set this aside now, all right? And we are going to go ahead and focus on making our flowers from the toilet paper roll. Let's see here. Hi, Christy. And boys, if you're watching, and George. Aw, thanks, Kathy. Thanks, I'm glad you like watching. Yeah, I try to keep it down to earth. I'm not very, I don't know. I saw other people go live, and when I first started doing this, I'm like, I watched a lot of like the jewelry and the, whatever those blanket clothing thing, I don't even know. I just watched a lot of different live videos, and I was like, that's not me. And I was kind of worried doing these because I'm not a very like girly girl. I'm not very like, oh my goodness, like it's just, that's not my personality. So I'm glad you guys enjoy it. I'm glad, you know, when I started doing these, I was like, well, everybody does kind of like the same thing on their video. They, you know, start out with their same thing and they're real peppy, and it's just like, I'm not really like that. I'm kind of more laid back. So I'm glad that you like viewing. It makes me feel better. Thank you. Oh, and thank you. My hair, I decided I've been stuck inside and it's been pulled up in a big like mess. It took me like about an hour to get a brush and my curls in this morning. I was like, I gotta look somewhat decent. So let me see. Hi, Wendy. Hi, girls. Hi, Aurea. Hi, Cora. Oh, hi, Logan. Oh, good morning, Lori. And thanks, Mom. Lori, if you're just joining, this is what we're making. The garden signs. I did this one. And I did this one this morning. Really cute. And they're really simple. They're just out of the cut log pieces. And if you don't have logs, I know everybody doesn't just have like a log laying around their house like I do because I'm weird. You can use like cardboard, an old cupboard door, anything will work. All right. Okay, and so we're gonna go ahead and go back to our little toilet paper roll. All right. I'm sure you guys have plenty of these if you started up on them, right? Okay, so I painted this all white, just the outside of it. So now I'm kind of just gonna smush it just a little bit, okay? And then I'm just gonna cut it. So if you look at this is my one I did before. They're not that thick. You just need little strips of that toilet paper roll, all right? And I'll show you how to make each flower. There's a whole bunch of different kinds that you can make. You can become creative yourself if you want. You don't have to do the exact designs that I did here, but I'll show you how to make each one. All right, so I need the strips pretty big, pretty thick. That way they stick off the board. They look kind of like the 3D look a little bit. So you'll just need your scissors. And I'm just gonna kind of cut them. I'm liking this because I can see and you guys can see at the same time here. Just in strips. Maybe. These are not good scissors. I should have got a better pair of scissors. I'm going to actually grab a better pair. These are my cheap dollar store pair that I had to buy real quick one day. Okay. Alright, so I'll use these. These are a little bit better. Alright, so just cutting those strips here. One by one. And they don't have to be perfect. You don't need to measure or anything. Just kind of eyeball it. Alright, so I'm going to cut 5 of these. Alright, and it kind of just depends on how your layout is too. So you might not need a huge flower. It's up to you. I have my blanket today. I'm chilly. It's cold up here. Alright, so I'm kind of just going to guesstimate this. So these are your petals. Woo! Maybe. There we go. these are your petals. You can kind of adjust them to how you want them to be, okay? So if you squeeze them like that, hold one end, they kind of create like a petal. And I'll probably do the bigger one over here maybe. And I'm just laying it out for right now. You're just sticking them all together. I want to lay them all out before I start gluing to make sure I like how I have them. And I only have one toilet paper roll, so I kind of gotta give and take here with my flowers today. All right, I got a little out of control on my last one, and I forgot that I needed to leave some for today. All right, so that one should work. Just keep in mind, you don't want to go below that bottom base on here, so don't let your flower hang over the bottom, because then you can't set it up and down. You'll have to hang it. You just don't want them to do that, because then it's going to stop that from sitting evenly if you want your stand, or if you want your sign to stand on its own. All right, so that looks pretty good there. All right, and I'm going to go back to my little toilet paper roll. My eyes are watering today. All right, and I'm going to cut a couple more, same size, okay? Good. I'm just going to keep cutting here. All right. Okay, so I have 4. So this one's going to be a smaller one. Well, actually, I'm going to finish. I'm trying to think here what I want to do. I'm going to actually just start a smaller one. I'm going to make sure I have enough. So I'm going to actually cut these after you cut them in the strips. Okay, this is going to be a smaller flower. So I'm going to cut this in half. All right. Okay. And I'm going to cut another one in half too. All right, and then I'm going to do the same thing with these as I did the other one. This is just laying them out just to get an idea about what size I need where, okay? That way, if you only have one toilet paper roll or paper towel roll, you're not using and then can't finish your project in the end, so. Okay, that one should be good there. All right. Now I'm going to cut this again in half. And I'm going to actually move this one down here. It's a bigger one. Okay. All right. So now to make one even littler. So you have your bigger, and this is just the outline of them. You have your bigger one. You're just using the full. And then you're using the halves for that one, okay? Which once this is glued together, it'll look a little bit better. It's just sitting there for right now. And then you're gonna do your small one, which means you're gonna get the half. So you started with the full piece. Sorry guys, it's hard to see these. You started with your full piece, you cut it in half, okay? And then you're going to hold the bottom area where that's open, and you're going to push in the middle of here. This is how to make a tiny one. And you're going to just bend it in. It's hard for me to hold out in front of you here. I'll get it bent and then I'll show you guys. Okay, so you kind of need to fold it, all right? So as you can see, it kind of makes like a little M, and that's with half of it. You're making a little M, all right? So you can make a couple of those. It's just easy to grab it, squeeze it, okay, and then fold it back up. This is how you get the most out of one paper towel roll or toilet paper roll. It works pretty nicely, not gonna lie. So I'm gonna cut a couple more. So to do the full big ones, you just cut the strips, okay? To do the half ones, you cut the strips and then cut them in half. And then to do the real small ones, you cut the strips, cut them in half, and then bend them in, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do more for the little one. Cut this strip. Okay, got your strip. Cut it in half. You got your half. where that opens. I know it's hard to see where that opens. Okay, you're going to grab that and you're going to actually fold it like that. Okay, and back up to make a little M. All right, so I'm going to do one more like that. So strip, okay, cut it in half. Get your open part here, bend it, maybe my fingers will work, bend it up and in to make an M. All right, got your little M. And one more here. Or you know what, let me make this one first. Okay, so I know these two flowers are gonna go like that. This little one, I'm going to start with the little one first. Okay, so you'll need your hot glue gun, hard glue gun, ugh, can't talk, hot glue gun. All right, and you're going to start, so you have your little M here, and this is to make the tiny one, okay? You have your little M, so you're going to start hot gluing on one of those little flaps, the outside flap. Add a tiny bit of hot glue, you're gonna get your next one, and you're going to put those two flaps together. All right, so it's kind of going to look like M and M together. All right, let's see. Yep, Kathy. Pretty cool. And this is my first time. I saw these on Pinterest. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. It's not something I really like to do. And then when I was making this, I'm like, why couldn't I use that idea and put this on here? It's pretty neat. And then I kind of just sat there the one day and worked on these. And I'm like, okay, how can I make, you know, different size flowers out of this? Because I saw them where you just cut them in strips and glue them all together. But I'm like, I want different sizes of flowers. So that's when I decided I was going to do them this way. So now you have your two M's glued together. You're going to glue the third one together. Little dot of glue, same thing, put your little M there and squeeze it together. So you're kind of just making a line of M's. That's awesome. That's awesome, Lori. Your husband's probably like, why are we saving toilet paper rolls? Mine's not home to question me, so I've been getting away with saving a lot of stuff. Your husband's probably like mine. He's probably like, oh my gosh, why is she saving these things? I'm like a hoarder, pretty much. I know my husband gets irritated. All right, so the next one. So just my line of M's here. I'm going to keep going. It also almost reminds me, looking at it like this, is if you get like a straw paper and you like sit there and kind of bend it. It's like the same thing, just flimsier. All right, so those are all glued together. Now I am going to actually, I'm going to go back and glue this here. I just want to make sure this is going to be big enough here how I want it. It might not be. Let me look. Oops, my end came apart here. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead, before I glue my two ends together, I'm going to go back and glue my middles now. So the middle of each M, I'm going to glue just a tiny bit, tiny bit, not the whole thing, just at the very start of it, okay? So this is time consuming, but it's really cute in the end. All right. All right, and I'm just going to keep going with that, just gluing the center of the M together at the very end of it, or very middle, I should say. Good, good. Do this one, and this just is so it doesn't separate too much, and it gives it the flower look. So you can see how they're a little bit closer together now. Good, okay, last one. Good. All right. Okay, so now you want to, oops, that one did not stay. I'm going to go back and redo that here in a minute. So now I'm gluing my ends together. All right. Just add a little dot of glue, gluing those together and holding it. I'm going to glue this back together too. I'm gluing too many things at once here, I think, is what's going on. Because that one popped off too. All right. So there's your tiny little flower. Look how cute. Isn't it adorable? So I'm just waiting for my hot glue to dry because my ends are kind of popping a little bit too much here. All right. So that's pretty much how you make the little tiny flowers, okay? You just glue all those little pieces together. It's pretty nifty. And if you have a different way of making them, go for it. This is just the way I kind of figured it out. And you can get each petal and kind of push down, make them a little bit rounder, make the flower a little bit bigger if you want. Kind of just make it how you want it. All right, but that's your little flower. Mine has hot glue all over it. All right. So that's my tiny little one. Let's see here. Hi, Jesse, my husband. Thank you for watching, babe. Yes, Tammy, it's really, really cute. It's so tiny. It's a cute little flower. I'm throwing it everywhere. Okay, let's see here. Kathy, I am from Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy here right now. It's been really, really nice. And like last night I ran out of milk, and I love milk, so I needed milk. So I ran out to get milk, and it started snowing when I came out of the store, and I'm like, what is going on? So Johnstown, Pennsylvania, we get some crazy weather here. Crazy. But yeah, it's a little town. We don't have a lot of stores. We're real quiet. We have like Walmart and Dollar Generals, and gas stations. We have Sheetz. That's about it. It's like real quiet. Not a lot of shopping. Not a lot of, crafting stuff. So, it's real quiet here. All right. So I got those, and I'm going to go ahead and start on my bigger flower now. So I'm going to pull these. These are the biggest one. These are just the strips. So I'm going to go ahead and just glue these together. Okay. Each strip. And you can change the shape of them after you have them all glued together. I just glue them together first. That way it's easier to work with, okay? So you can make them as narrow as you want them or as fluffy as you want them. And I'm just going to keep gluing all those little petals together. Good. All right. And same thing here. Good. All right, so that's part of my big flower there. As you can see, it's starting to shape a little bit better now. It looks better than what I just had setting on there. I'm doing my last petal here. Good. All right, and then I'm going to bring those two together here. And if you guys want more petals, you can use more petals in here. I just use this many just because I don't have a lot of toilet paper roll left. So I didn't want to waste it all on one flower. There you go. And that's another thing here. If your toilet paper roll is starting to unravel, don't pull that off, because then this becomes very, very thin and it won't keep its shape. So I actually just glue it back together. I know it sounds funny, but I just glue it because then it holds its shape still. Okay, like right in here. I did the mistake of pulling it and it just kind of unraveled. So don't pull them off. All right, there you go. So that's your bigger flower. And then we have our medium flower, which are just the halves of the strips. And that's pretty self-explanatory. You just glue all those little V's together. Okay, so then you're making a bigger M. And I'm just going to keep going here with that. And this might actually be a cute craft for like your kids too, to put the flowers together if you have tape and everything. Yep, Kathy, you can paint them. Yeah, absolutely. After I have these on here, I actually go over with my sponge brush and just get the edges of them with all white, and that just makes them stick out better. It just highlights them a little bit more. So you have the sides already painted, and then you have, after you glue these all on here, I just get my sponge brush and kind of just dab and get the front of them. So then that way, this surface is all covered too. And it looks really pretty. It just makes them stick out more. Alright, so that's half of my medium flower there. I'm going to keep going with that. So you can make these all different sizes. That's what I like about them. It was a cute little project. And I know people just do wall art out of these, which is kind of neat too. So if you don't like the sign part and you just want to do this part, you can make, there's like wall art. If you look it up on Pinterest, it's really neat. All right, so there's my little medium flower. Okay, so I just did my line of the halves there, and then I'm gluing them together here. Crazy what you can do with a toilet paper roll or paper towel roll, right? So neat. It's like I never want to throw anything away again. Let's see. Awesome. My husband has all of his coworkers watching me today. Hi, guys. Thank you for viewing. Center. Yes, Tammy. Yeah, definitely, Mom. You could definitely put something in the center of those. And I've even thought about it. You could put a bead or anything. Yes, absolutely. I love that idea. Good idea. Yep, to make them pop a little bit more. That's a good idea. I might actually have some beads that I could add today. I'm liking that. All right. All right, so I'm just kind of puffing that out a little bit. Making it a little bit fluffier. There we go. Oops, this one here must have been a little bit bigger than the rest, but it's okay. It looks all right. I'm just going to move it over this way. Okay, so there's your medium flower, all right? And I'm going to set that down here. So I got my small, medium, and large. And this is kind of where you're like, all right, should I move anything? I'm trying to figure this out. I might want this actually reversed. Maybe not. Maybe not. I'm thinking to myself, sorry guys. I think I'm going to keep that like that. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut a couple more strips here. I'm going to finish my big flower because if you look at it, I kind of did a couple layers on the big flower. So what I did was do the first strip, and then I cut the second strip in half, and then I cut the third, I think, again. So that way it adds more detail. I probably won't do that to all of them just because I don't have a lot of toilet paper. This is all the toilet paper roll I have left. So I'm going to see how much I can get out of it. Let's see. I'm going to get creative here. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to have enough, you guys. All right, I cut these strips really thin. All right. Let's see. So I'm going to cut these in half. Good. Cut in half again. This is for the inside of the big flower. And again. Okay. And I'm just going to lay these on the inside here. Make sure they look okay. Good. All right. And then I have two more of these. All right. So I'll probably make a couple more for this sign, maybe a couple more little ones after I have more toilet paper rolls. So I'm going to go ahead and just glue these. So this is for the middle of this flower here. Okay, so I'm going to glue these together first, the edges. All right. I just wanted to make sure I showed you guys how to make the different sizes of flowers. That way you knew. All right. Just going to finish that little tab there that's sticking up. Oops. I think I even got it. Okay. Good. Getting hot glue. I'm messy. I'm so messy today. My hands are covered in paint and hot glue. Alright, that looks good. Alright, so I'm going to take that and I'm going to glue it right inside of here. Just to make that look a little cuter. And I did flare it out a little bit. As you can see, right here's that one, and then that one's a little bit straighter. Okay, so same thing with that. Yes, Jesse. Babe, you need to use more toilet paper. I know you're not home right now, but save them from the hotel rooms and bring them home for me. My husband's away at work and he travels, and he just commented about bringing home the toilet paper rolls. Thank you for your support, hubby. Thank you. Alright, so I'm just doing the middle of that. And he would too. He would bring those back with him. Alright. Looks good. I'm just going to keep going there. Oops. I need to glue that first. This one's splitting on me. These are getting thinner and thinner. I should have saved more of my paper towel rolls. If I would have known I was doing this, I just pitched some like I think beginning of last week before I knew I was doing this project. I pitched them and I'm like, ah, I knew I shouldn't have pitched this. Especially now, because there's so much stuff you can make with things. Aw, thanks, Beth. Hi, Maya. Hi, Malik. And these are cute, Beth. The kids can even make these. They're pretty easy. You could make the sign part and then the kids can make the flowers for you. That'd be nice. Get it all done. Alright. And I know Maya likes her crafting and painting rocks, so you could even glue some painted rocks to this. It might look really cute. Alright. Alright, my last two here for my big flower. I'm really pushing my little strips of toilet paper roll here. I'm desperate. This is sad. Oh, I just threw my hot glue gun. I have a habit of throwing things. I try to watch myself lately on the videos because I'm like, I don't want people to think I'm crazy, but when I'm working, I kind of just throw things down. So, probably not good. Should probably break that habit. Alright, last one here on the big flower. And then we will glue that on, and then I will show you guys how to just paint the edges of these. Alright, last one. Okay. Come on. Alright, so after those are all, I'm going to make sure they're all dried first, and then I'll puff them out a little bit. But there's your little big flower. Yeah, little big flower. Your big flower. Just removing all the extra hot glue cobwebs here and just cleaning it up a little bit. Okay, so I just see there's some spots here, this paper towel roll, that are coming loose. Just want to glue them down so they don't start peeling. My hot glue gun is just not working with me today. It's being really stubborn. Okay. That looks good. Alright, so I'm just going to kind of get these and just puff out the middles a little bit. Make them look a little bit fuller after that hot glue is dry in there. There we go. All right, looks good. There you go. There's your little flower. I'm gonna clean this off. I just got a whole bunch of shred on there just from messing with this. Okay, so now I'm gonna get my flat side of this flower and I'm gonna add some hot glue to the very back and just position it how I want it on my little log here. Okay, and then just push it and let it dry. And then same thing with the other two here. Make sure it's nice and clean. I'm going to get a little bit of hot glue. There we go. And push it down. Same with this one. And I picked the flatter side for the outside, of course. Okay, so if it's uneven, if you cut your strips kind of uneven, just try to line up one side, and that way the back side you don't really see. All right, so there's that. It looks so cute. So now what we need to do is make these stand out a little bit more. All right. So I'm going to get my little paintbrush that I used with the white on it, my little sponge brush. I'm going to dip it in the white just a little bit, get a little bit on there. All right, and then I'm going to just lightly go over all the edges. All right. You don't want to push too hard, because if you push too hard, you're going to get all that white on your chalk sign, and you don't want to do that. You just want to outline the flower. And you can see how much better that one side is. It's standing out a lot more. It's amazing what a little bit can do. So I'm going to do this one here next. A little bit of highlight on there. Turn this towards me for a second here. Oops, I'm getting some on my board because I can't see it. All right. I'm just going to touch up those spots where I got that white paint a little bit. All right. That's what I get for not paying attention to what I'm doing here. All right. So that looks pretty good. It's standing out a lot better now. Big difference. All right, as you guys can see, from those to that, big difference. All right, so I'm just gonna get my tiny little black paintbrush here. I'm gonna touch up the spots that I kind of didn't listen to my own instructions on. You guys probably hear the wind outside. It's really, really crappy. I'm waiting for like hail or something to come through that window. And it's not even, I feel like it's not even cold out. I went outside to let the dog out, and I left my bag of paintbrushes out on my back porch. So I went outside, and when I went out, I'm thinking, it's not even that cold out. How's it snowing? It's like a blizzard. It's not even really cold out today. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, so I just went back over and touched up those little spots there that I went too crazy with the white paint on. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the other two now, the small ones. All right, just get a little bit more paint on there. Okay, and you guys can even watch this. It's really neat how those edges just make it look so much better. Little ones are easier to do. There's that one. Pretty neat. Okay, and then this last one here, same thing, just doing the edges. And you guys don't have to use white. You can use like bright pink or yellow or anything you guys want to use. I just use white because I love white and black, and to me, when I think chalkboard, I think white and black. But I mean, you guys could even use something other than black on the background if you wanted it to look, you know, if this is a project for your kids to do or anything, you know, it's really neat. You could use them any color. All right, so those stand out a lot better now. And you can even add the little centerpieces in this bigger one too if you wanted to. I just ran out of paper towel rolls, so I'm gonna go back and add a couple more flowers like over to here, and maybe like one down here and one, oops, I'm backwards, one up here, just to give it, you know, more flowers on it. But that's pretty much how you make them. They're pretty. And then I am gonna actually use little beads. I have some in the drawer over here. So thank you to my mother-in-law. She gave me that idea. That's awesome. I am gonna actually grab a bead and I'm gonna put those on there. I think they're gonna look really, really cute. So just give me 1 second here. I got like a whole box of these from a garage sale like 2 years ago, and I'm like, I remember when I was buying them, I'm like, what am I going to use these for? I've been using them for years. I love them. All right, so they're just like the plain like kid beads. I don't even know, crafting beads. Let me find an end here. Okay, so I'm just going to cut a couple of these off. And I'm just going to glue them to the center. I think they'll make it look so much cuter. Oh, they look so nice. Good idea, Tammy Rager. Looks awesome. So if you guys don't have a lot of toilet paper rolls, this is a good idea too. Awesome. I love when you guys come up with good ideas. All right. And they kind of cover up that little messy part in the middle of there. So look at that. Isn't that cute? I love it. Good idea. Looks awesome. I'm going to have to add them to my other two too. Alright, so guys, that's pretty much how you make that, okay? I hope I went over everything. As far as making the flowers, that's the trickiest part. The smallest one is kind of tricky, so hopefully, you know, I went over it well enough that you guys understand. If not, please message me and I can kind of go over it with you again. Not a problem at all. So it turned out pretty neat. I like it. Alright, let's see here. I don't think I'm missing anybody's comments. No. Okay, looks good. I'm going to go back through and make sure I didn't miss anybody. I haven't been getting all the comments. Like, it's been a little weird. Today seems to be okay. But the last couple videos, as soon as I logged off, it was like I went back on, and I always go back on to make sure I didn't miss any. And it was like 3 or 4 comments I didn't get when I was viewing and live. So if I miss your comment, it's not because I'm ignoring you. It's not popping up for me to see for some reason. It's weird. Sometimes they don't pop up. Yeah, no problem, Alicia. I don't mind doing this at all. So, yep, it's really cute. Something to do. You guys are more than welcome to share this video. Share it with friends and family. Give them something to do. And like I said, it could be a cute kid's craft too. Even just on a piece of cardboard. Something neat. Something decorative they can make for their rooms. It's really cute. Alright, you guys, so I hope you enjoyed the project today. I know I had quite a few of you on here. That's awesome. So if you guys have any questions about this, or later on if you're doing this on your own and you're not sure of something or how to make a flower, just leave me a message. I'll get back to you. So tomorrow, let me see. I am doing the, reach back here and grab this. Okay. I am doing this tomorrow, okay? So if you want to join me for this, if you have old screens, awesome. If you do not, like I know a lot of people probably don't have old screens laying around their house like I do. I bought these in bulk, like at a flea market, and I just been doing different things with them. But this is probably my favorite one. So if you guys join me tomorrow, if you don't have a screen, cardboard or something like that will work. I know it sounds funny, but you can make the cardboard look really, really cute. And also make these. So you'll need the doilies, you'll need a little bit of paint, you'll need some coffee. If you're interested in making these, if you go back to my page and watch the video from yesterday, that beginning of that video we're using for this project. So the coffee dyeing for the doilies, we'll need that for this project. And I'm trying to debate whether I'm going to do that again, go over that again in the video, or if I'm just going to start with them already dyed. So we'll see. All right. But, oh, excuse me. I'm talking too much today. I'm losing my voice. But yep, that's what we're making tomorrow at 10:30. All right. So you guys can join me for that. All right. Pretty neat. Let me see here. Oh, you're welcome. Love you too, Mom. So, yep. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for viewing. I really, really appreciate every single one of you. Thank you. And we'll see you tomorrow at 10:30. All righty. Bye, guys. Stay safe and healthy. Bye.